What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Del from Inkie Quill, and I'm back with another epic journal with me in my Melbourne Traveller's Notebook. I am getting close to finishing this. We've got, I think there's another 2 days after this, if my calculations are correct. But these are definitely, this one and the previous video, which was up in January, which was our zoo day, are definitely the two biggest, most photo heavy days in the whole thing. So I'm hoping to get it finished very soon, so I can do a final flip through and just have another unfinished project completed. It's a good feeling when you complete one of those projects. So I'm working in, this is an insert, I think it's from the Stamp Spot, I think that's the name of it. And it's really cool because it's got white pages and like pocket pages all in one. And I'm trying to do a different type of traveler's notebook style. If you've watched my journal with me videos and my TN over on my Let's Get Inkie YouTube channel, they're quite busy. They're a little chaotic and they're full. They're absolutely full. But I'm really trying to embrace the white space with these. And in today's video, we do 9.5 pages, like spreads. So I'm getting them done. I think my top tip, if you are looking to do a traveler's notebook or a journal while you travel somewhere, is to limit your supplies to just a little pouch of some stickers and some pens, your favorite pens, and washi tape. And by limiting your supplies, it makes it a lot easier to keep on top of the project and not get too overwhelmed. So a lot of the pages in this traveler's notebook are quite minimal, I guess you would say, and I'm really working with the photos being a focal point rather than making this too scrapbooky. I was saving most of the white pages for that more clean kind of look, and then the inserts where I had to slide in some sort of paper to work on, they're a little bit more scrapbooky. I also really try to use up this rub-on pack. Rub-ons are amazing for traveler's notebooks because they're flat. So you get the look of a sticker without the bulk of a sticker. So they're if you're looking to make like a little kit together to work in a traveler's notebook or a journal, they're something that's I often forget about rub-ons. I don't know, I forget about them a lot. And it was only because I think I received those in a monthly kit subscription, or maybe I bought them on a whim. I didn't plan on buying them. They just suddenly appeared, and they were perfect for this because they were travel themed. So throughout this day, all of these many pages are from the one day. Of course, we went to the aquarium and everything's very blue. Everything's very tinged with a blue kind of look because of the reflection of all of the tanks. The Melbourne Aquarium, if you've never had a chance to go there, it's amazing. I am not a huge fish person. I'm much more of a zoo gal than an aquarium person. Fish kind of freak me out. I'm actually terrified of the ocean. Have a bit of PTSD from a near drowning experience when I was a teenager, and I don't like the ocean at all. I'm really not an outdoorsy person with my fears of the ocean and trees. I like inside where things won't hurt me, but I'm not really a beach person, but the aquarium in Melbourne is just incredible. And can you still call them enclosures when they're tanks? The tanks are really, really big, and there's no like whales or anything large there, but it's a really fantastic facility if you're ever in the area. So something I have been going back and back to in this traveler's notebook is this layout where I do pattern paper stripes, and it's quick, it's really easy to do. It's great for using offcuts because a lot of the papers that I was using for this journal were 6x8 size. They were leftovers from previous citrus twist kits, and to cut them to a traveler's notebook size, you're left with a a thin, probably 1.5 inch strip down the side of the page. And so I had them all hanging around and I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. So it's great for this layout. And I think by simplifying things a little bit, if you are doing a journal or a mini album even that has a lot of pages to do, it's sometimes nice to get a few go-to formats that you can just quickly bust out and not put too much think into the composition and the design of the page. I do apologise for the glare. The problem is that I print my photos glossy, and this traveller's notebook is a little chunky. She's quite thick, and it's very difficult to have both sides glare free because the left hand side is a lot thicker than the few pages that I've got left on the right hand side. So for this side, I am just really simply sticking the 2 pages on and putting a little stamp in the middle. And I think that it's a really nice change to have such clean cut pages opposite the more scrapbooky layout style, I guess you could call them. I also have quite a few 4x6 photos that I wanted to include, and I could have put them sideways, I guess, but I think that would really frustrate me flipping through it, to have to turn the book sideways, which I know is petty, but I think it would just really annoy me. And so a lot of them were able to be cut in half, which was really handy. I also tried to not mat my photos too often, because anytime you add extra paper, it is adding extra bulk. And like I said, these are the final pages in this particular insert, and it's getting very difficult to work in. So I have a little issue with the next insert. Like I said, these 2 days are the 2 biggest ones, and so I think the 2 final days probably only consist of, oh no, we went to no, there's still quite a few photos actually for the next day. I forgot about that. But I definitely don't have enough to fill an entire insert. So I don't know whether I have another one of these beautiful inserts from the Stamp Spot with the page protectors. I don't know whether to try and either fill up as much of it as I can and then leave the rest empty. I don't know whether to take out some of the middle pages to make it thinner and try and fill it up, and then I can staple the pages together again and use them for a different project, or to just put together my own little insert that hasn't got as many pages and it has just got white paper in it. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on that, because I've hit a bit of a wall, and that's why I haven't done any more pages in this journal. I filmed this back in January, and yeah, I haven't picked it up again because I've been a bit too nervous to know which decision to go with. So I need your help, Inklets. Here I'm just adding a little bit of washi tape. This is a beautiful washi tape that a subscriber sent me, and I use it everywhere. It's just a really nice, very easy to match with anything black and white polka dot, and I'm just sticking those underneath. You can see the background there. I just stuck together a few of those tiny side strips that I was talking about with that leftover paper, and made them into a new pattern paper, and she's done. So I'm really trying to... I also should add that the photos here, I was careful in putting them in chronological order. I am a bit of a sucker for the old chronological order. It's the same in my project life. I get a bit, what's the word? A bit type A with putting things in my project life that happen on, so say for example, my project life goes from Monday to Sunday, and so I could never start the week with an event that happened on the Saturday or Sunday. It has to start with the start of the week. I'm a bit pedantic like that, and so this, of course, this traveller's notebook was definitely the same with that. So here you can see I've got a lot of these papers that are kind of an awkward cut, like I've chunked out a bit from here and there, and so all I'm doing is just creating kind of Frankenstein papers and sticking them together so that it looks like it's meant to be one page, but it's not. This was actually, I think, some packaging from some embellishments or a stamp, and I have actually peeled it in half like I do when I have cardstock things, just to not make it as thick, because like I said before, saving every millimetre of thickness that I possibly can. So once again, I've got my rub-ons. I'm trying desperately to use them all in this project. I think they're all used now. I do believe I've used them all, because rub-ons do have a bit of an expiry date. I think out of everything in my craft supplies, rub-ons and washi tape seem to have the quickest expiry date for me. Paint would be a hot next one, I think, but of course things like paper are more likely to last longer because there's no adhesive or liquid involved, whereas the others definitely do have those. So I'm really enjoying using that brush pen as well. I have no idea what brush pen it is. It is I think it's by Pilot. That's the only details that I've got. It has, I think, some Japanese lettering on it that I can't read, but it's a really lovely brush pen to use. And it's been nice to have a bit of a play with black brush lettering. I think in my traveler's notebook, my other one, I tend to go with coloured and make it really bright, and then do the outline in just like a black pen. Whereas this time it was nice to stick with the black. This is also giving me a lot of inspiration for the 100-day project. So if you followed me last year over on Instagram, I did every day I posted for 100 days a page in a little junk journal that I made that were letters to Archie, and just talking about like what he did that day, or something sweet. And I really love the project. It's run by two ladies. I think they're in LA. I think I follow one of them on Instagram, and essentially you don't have to sign up or pay or do anything. It's just choosing something creative to do for 100 days. It starts on April 2nd and goes for 100 days, and you can share it and use the hashtag the 100-day project. And it's really fun to kind of tailor your focus to a specific either skill or technique or process that you want to try, and maybe you want to practice it and get better at it, or you just want to focus on it for a little bit. I really enjoyed it last year. However, I found that if I skipped one day, I was fine, but if I skipped more than one day, it kind of gave me a bit of a block. And so this year, I think I'm going to participate again, and I've been wondering what to do, and I think I'm going to do a sketchbook, something that I can do sitting on the couch at night and doesn't involve too many supplies. But I think I'm going to do like an artist's sketchbook, I guess you could say, and this kind of layout with the photos and the brush lettering and the hand journaling is giving me some feels for what I hope in my head will work. We'll see how we go. Let me know if you're joining in on the 100-day project and what you're doing. I think it's a really fun thing, and I think the biggest thing is to just kind of not give yourself too much pressure to keep up with the Joneses and get it done perfectly and on time. If you're late, it's okay. That's what I learned. That's what I took away from last year. And it's also good to choose something that you can do quickly, because some days you might only have 2 minutes, 5 minutes to dedicate to it. Other days you might have half an hour, and so it's nice if it's something that's a little bit open, so you've got that leeway that if it's you can do something complicated on a day that you've got some more time, and then you can also just bust out something quick if you're running short of time. So this photo is probably one of my favourites that we took while in Melbourne. This little penguin dude had such an interest in Archie. Now, I hope it's not because he thought he was a big fish or something, but he was they were just smitten with each other and were laughing. Well, the penguin wasn't laughing, but Archie was laughing, and he was just amazed at this little penguin that came right up to the glass, and it was actually, its beak was like tapping on the glass, and it was really cute. I did get it on video. We're running very behind on the Mr. and Mrs Rad vlogs, and I realised that we're going to try and keep up. We've just had so many setbacks the last 6 months. A lot of health things going on with both our little trio, but some close family as well. So when the Melbourne vlog comes up, watch this little penguin dude, because they were just best friends or mortal enemies. I don't know. It's a fine line, but they had some sort of connection going on. So I'm doing just like a big title, I guess you could say, and I love this right hand side. I really love the look of the torn graph paper, grid paper. There are photos of all of the pages at the end. I know I've sped this up quite fast. I've sped this up, I think it was 3 times fast, just to get them all in there, and a lot of it is just sticking or writing or journaling, so I didn't want to make you watch too much of that. Once again, I'm doing a page like I did that other one and using those leftover side strips from cutting up the paper. This is one of my favourite papers, and I have hoarded it. Oh, it's very difficult for me to use it. It's one of those papers that I've really had to kind of push myself to use, but I love that it's in the journal now, and that I can enjoy it on a project rather than just have it on a shelf somewhere. So I actually used the back of the previous paper for this one to do the white in the background, and I think that's a good way to, once again, get around the thickness of the journal by using any of the previous pages that you can. Are you a person, this is a question, this is something that I've played around with a little bit. If you are a scrapbooker, in your albums, do you sometimes do 2 layouts back to back on one piece of paper? Because a couple of times I have done that where I've liked both sides of the pattern paper, and it's just been way too difficult to choose which one to use, and so I've gotten around that by using both sides. But let me know, because it kind of makes sense, and I find a lot of the time that scrapbooking companies put 2 beautiful designs on the one page, and then they'll have another piece of paper that I'm not too fussed about, and they're back to back. So I think that it's quite a resourceful way of getting around that. So here I am fighting with my ATG. What's new? That's just how we roll. This was filmed, of course, in the middle of summer. We had a hot summer this time. There are a few very hot days, but it hasn't been ridiculous. The summer that I was pregnant with Archie was insane. We had numerous 45-degree Celsius days in a row, so we would often have 3 of those in a row, and it was unbearable. But this summer has been good. However, I do notice that my ATG definitely does not behave itself in the heat, because I buy off-brand tape for it. I don't buy the Scotch brand, because I think it's about $18 a roll, and I go through it way too quickly for those shenanigans. So adding a bit of journaling around the side here, and I had a lot of fun playing with different places to plonk my journaling. I tried to, because the backgrounds were white, it was a lot easier to not need a label or a specific something to write onto. I could just slap it straight onto the background, which was really nice. This was a paper bag from some cookies, and I just thought it was the perfect way to finish off this insert. And I'm all done. So you can see she's chunky. She's very nice and thick. And I will try and show you the best here without getting the glare on those plastic page protector pages, and of course the photos as well. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it gave you some inspiration if you've got an unfinished project to just knock it out, simplify things, simplify the layout. simplify the supplies that you have on hand and just limit how much you've got, and try and bust those unfinished projects out. I have to apologize for the promised unfinished live stream that I am going to do over here on Patreon. It took a bit of a back burner. My nan's been in hospital with fractures in her spine, and my mum broke her tailbone in the same week, and so things have been a little hectic over here, but they're both on the mend, and I'm looking at April for dates for that. Aaron's just got to get on and test, because we haven't done a Patreon only live stream before, but I will let you guys know that as soon as I know the date. All right, peeps, I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.